The shadows of the North Archive deepen as the terminal's glow fully expires, leaving only the faint, crystalline light from the high windows to illuminate the space. You tighten your hold on Myron's waist, feeling the subtle shiver that runs through her at your words.
I'm not going anywhere. The audit isn't over yet, is it?
Myron lets out a sound that is half gasp, half laugh, her fingers curling into the deep red fabric of your tunic. She tilts her head back, her silver blonde hair catching the dim light like a halo. The aristocratic composure she usually wields like a shield is nowhere to be found. In its place is a raw, shimmering honesty.
No, I suppose there are still several data points that require closer examination.
She reaches up, her gloved hand sliding from your chest to the back of your neck, her thumb grazing the pulse point just below your ear. The contact is electric, a resonance far more potent than any weapon-matching frequency.
The theory says that high quanta signatures like yours are inherently unstable. But being this close to you, it doesn't feel like a landslide anymore. It feels like a center.
She pulls you down again, her lips brushing against yours in a ghost of a kiss that is more a promise than a completion. The scent of rain and old ink clings to her, a cool, intellectual fragrance that now feels inextricably linked to the heat of her skin.
If my family saw me now, they'd say I've lost my conductance. But for the first time since I arrived at ETHERIUM, I don't care about the ranking. I just want to see how far this variable goes.
The archive is silent, a sanctuary of ancient stone and modern secrets. Myron's breath is warm against your skin, and the invitation in her eyes is clear. She isn't looking for a calculation anymore. She's looking for the man behind the output. The silence of the North Archive feels more like a shield than a void. You look down at Myron, your hand steady against the small of her back, providing the grounding force she seems to crave. The blue light from the terminal has finally flickered out, leaving you both in the velvet embrace of the late afternoon shadows.
The variable goes exactly where you want it to, Myron. Tell me what you want to find.
Myron's breath hitches, a soft, jagged sound that shivers against your collarbone. She doesn't look away. Instead, she leans her head back, exposing the elegant line of her throat to the dim light. Her fingers, still tangled in the hair at the nape of your neck, tighten their grip, pulling you a fraction closer.
I want to find the person who doesn't show up on the calibration slates. I want to know what it feels like to stop being a legacy, to stop being a rank, and just be.
She lets out a tiny, self-deprecating laugh, her forehead resting against your chin for a brief second before she meets your eyes again. The silver flecks in her irises seem to burn with a private, concentrated heat.
I've spent my whole life being handled with care because of my family name. But you handle that greatsword like it's a part of you, with a strength that doesn't ask for permission.
I want to find out if that strength is as real as it looks. She reaches up, her thumb tracing the curve of your lower lip, her gaze heavy and focused. The scent of cold rain and expensive ink is intoxicating, a refined fragrance that now feels like a challenge you are more than ready to meet. Myron's hand slides from your jaw to your shoulder, her fingers grazing the gold embroidery of your robe as she pulls you down. The invitation is no longer a matter of academic curiosity. It is a physical demand, a bridge she is begging you to cross. The air in the North Archive seems to crystallize as you move. You don't hesitate, and you don't offer more words for her to analyze. You bridge the final inches of the gap, your hand sliding firmly up the nape of her neck to anchor her, and you kiss her. The impact is total. It is not the surgical precision she praised, but the raw, unyielding force of the landslide she first feared, and now clearly craves. Myron's breath is snatched away, a soft, muffled sound of surprise that is immediately swallowed as she leans into the contact. The aristocratic mask doesn't just slip. It incinerates. Her hands, previously hesitant, now clench into the fabric of your heavy brown robes with a desperate, grounding hunger. Wyndra. She breaks the kiss just long enough to gasp your name, her lips flushed, and her silver eyes wide and hazy. The cool blue light of the research terminals is a world away. Here in the shadows of the mahogany shelves, there is only the heat of her skin and the frantic rhythm of her heart against your chest. She surges back toward you, her mouth seeking yours again with a fierce, starving intensity that no archive record could ever quantify.
The data is clear enough now, isn't it?
Myron doesn't answer with words. She pulls your head down, her fingers tangling in your hair, her body pressing flush against yours as if she's trying to merge her very signature with your own. The scent of rain and ink has turned into something warmer, more primal. The restricted section of the archive is deserted, the towering shelves of ancient knowledge providing a wall of absolute privacy. Myron's breath is hot against your neck, her hands sliding beneath the collar of your tunic as the weight of the academy and her legacy family falls away entirely. The heat between you is a physical weight, a stark contrast to the chilled air of the archives. You slowly ease your grip on Myron's waist, creating just enough space to breathe. You lift your head, pulling back until your foreheads no longer touch, forcing yourself to break the frantic rhythm of the kiss.
Look at me, Myron.
She shivers, her hands remaining locked behind your neck as she tilts her head up. The blue-shadowed light of the North Archive reveals a face you haven't seen before. The sharp, aristocratic lines of her features have softened. Her silver eyes are wide and dark with a hazy, unmasked longing. There is no calculation in her gaze now, no ranking math or legacy pride, only the raw, trembling vulnerability of a woman who has finally let someone inside her guard. Her lips are slightly parted, still flushed from the contact, and her breathing is a series of shallow, uneven catches. I feel like I'm losing my baseline. Everything I was taught about control, about maintaining the boundary. She trails off, her fingers tightening in your dark hair as if she's afraid that if she lets go, she'll drift away into the high, vaulted ceiling. She isn't looking at you as a variable to be audited anymore. She is looking at you as her only anchor in a world that suddenly feels far too large and far too quiet. It's terrifying. And I don't want you to stop. The shadows of the mahogany shelves wrap around you both, a private sanctuary built of ancient wood and modern desire. Myron leans back against the heavy research table, her hands sliding down to your chest, her eyes never leaving yours as she waits for your next move. You do not let the moment hang in the air a second longer. Reaching out, you slide your hand from her waist to the back of her head, your fingers tangling in the silk of her loosened, silver blonde hair. You pull her toward you, closing the final gap and meeting her honesty with a slow, deep kiss. This isn't the explosive collision of earlier. It is a deliberate, heavy claim. Your lips move against hers with a patient pressure that demands she feel every bit of the warmth she's been searching for. The archive, with its cold stone and ancient records, vanishes completely. There is only the friction of her burgundy vest against your embroidered robes and the way she sighs into your mouth, a sound of total, uncurtained surrender. Wyndra. I think the audit is finally complete. She breaks the kiss but doesn't pull away, her nose brushing yours as she keeps her eyes closed, savoring the lingering heat. Her hands are flat against your chest, and you can feel the frantic, syncopated rhythm of her pulse through the layers of fabric. The clinical legacy prodigy has been replaced by someone far more real and far more dangerous to your focus. The data suggests. That I am entirely compromised, and I find I don't mind the loss of control at all. Myron leans back against the mahogany research table, her hands sliding up to grip the lapels of your dark brown robe. She pulls you closer, her legs brushing against yours in the dim, blue-tinted shadows of the restricted stacks. The silence of the archive is heavy and absolute, a private world where the only thing that matters is the heat between you. The cold weight of the institution feels 1,000 miles away, separated from this alcove by rows of forgotten knowledge. You reach out, your arms caging Myron against the edge of the mahogany table before drawing her into a fierce, protective hold. You pull her chest flush against yours, one hand splaying across the small of her back, while the other cradles the back of her head, shielding her from the blue glow of the terminal. You bury your face in the curve of her neck, the heat of your skin meeting the cool porcelain of hers. The scent of rain and ink is sharp here, mingling with a deeper, more personal warmth. You feel her breath hitch, a small, fractured sound that vibrates against your collarbone as she collapses into the embrace. Wyndra, you're going to break every parameter I have left. Her hands, previously tracing the embroidery of your tunic, now lock behind your shoulders. She clings to you as if the archive floor has turned to glass, her fingers digging into the heavy dark brown fabric of your robe. The rigid discipline of a legacy daughter melts entirely, replaced by a trembling, desperate relief.
Good. You spent too long being a calculation. Just be this instead.
You feel her nod against your shoulder, her silver blonde hair spilling over your arm. For a long minute, the only movement in the archive is the synchronized rise and fall of your chests. The silence isn't empty anymore. It's a solid thing, heavy with the weight of her surrender. It's quiet. I think I've been waiting for someone to be stronger than the expectations. To just hold the world still for a second. Myron pulls back just enough to look at you, her face flushed and her silver eyes shimmering with a raw, unshielded light. She doesn't move to straighten her uniform or fix her braid. She remains within your arms, her thumb tracing the line of your jaw as she waits, her lips slightly parted in the deepening shadows. The air in the alcove feels static-charged and heavy, the kind of stillness that only follows a total collapse of professional boundaries. You let your fingers slide down Myron's arm until they find her hand, your palm warm against her cool, trembling skin. You give her a firm, grounding squeeze, feeling the way she instinctively grips you back.
Squeeze her hand and lead her toward the exit. The audit finally concluded.
Myron lets out a long, shaky breath, her gaze lingering on the darkened terminal for a heartbeat before she looks back at you. The sharp, clinical edge of the legacy prodigy hasn't quite returned. She looks dazed, her silver blonde hair messy and her lips still darkened by the intensity of your contact. The data. It's all there. I'll have to log it later. Right now, I think I just need to remember how to walk. She steps away from the mahogany table, her legs a bit unsteady. You don't let go of her hand, guiding her through the towering shelves of the restricted section. The scent of old parchment and cold stone follows you as you move toward the archive's main doors. Myron pauses at the heavy oak threshold, straightening her burgundy blazer and smoothing her hair back into its silver braid. She gives you one last, unshielded look, a silent promise of things to come, before she slips out into the main corridor, disappearing into the evening flow of students heading toward the dorms. The walk back to the eastern edge of the campus is a blur of cooling twilight and the distant sounds of Vitalis. By the time you reach the odd-rank dormitory common room, the space is already crowded with tired first years. Pelvithe is slumped in a worn leather armchair near the fireplace, her burgundy tie completely undone and her boots kicked off. There he is. I thought the archive had swallowed you whole. You look like you've seen a ghost, Wyndra, or finally figured out Galden's math. The common room is a mess of open textbooks, discarded bags, and the low hum of student gossip. Pelvithe gestures to the empty seat beside her, her ink-stained fingers tapping against a cup of lukewarm tea.